consider this your weight loss masterclass. So I am going to give you the same tools that I use in my Boss Baddies Fit Camp, where I help busy professional women lose weight and feel great. These are also the same tools that I use when I completely reshape my body after the age of 40. These are easy to follow steps, and you can use them, rinse and repeat if you get stuck. And trust me, once you have this down pat, you won't even need to worry about going back and gaining additional weight. So this is a very easy and effective way to start your weight loss journey and to start losing weight immediately. This can be used in the long term. So everything that I'm going to run through on this list, you can do this over and over and over again to continue to build upon your success and really just keep the weight off. I know people usually say the first step in any weight loss journey is to be in a calorie deficit. Yes, scientifically, you do need to be in a calorie deficit in order to lose weight. But how are you going to get to a calorie deficit if you don't know what you need to remove or what you're actually doing, so that way you can start to remove stuff so that you can get into a calorie deficit? If you're not familiar with what a calorie deficit is, it basically means that you are burning more calories than you are consuming. So in order to figure out what you're consuming, that's where we're going to start with step number 1. I want you to keep a food diary for 3 to 5 days. And I want you to be honest. You have to be honest with yourself. This includes everything that you're eating, everything that you're drinking, the oils that you're using, the salad dressings that you're using. I want you to be completely honest for 3 to 5 days on what you're eating. I mean, you're going to keep a food log for longer than that, but I want you to look at 3 to 5 days so you can figure out exactly what you're doing and where you can start removing some things from your diet. Now, step number 2 is to actually fix your diet. Trim the fat. So we are going to trim everything that is completely unnecessary and just easy for you to automatically start getting some calories out of there. So the first thing is to remove soda, juice, sugary drinks. Yes, soda, juice, these are very obvious. Even if they're diet soda, people that drink diet soda, they're still consuming some sort of sweetness, so it does create the additional insulin release, which leads to further weight gain, which that's a different video. But anyway, people that consume soda and juice, that's a lot of sugar that you're taking in. The other thing that people are taking in are these sugary drinks. This includes those frappuccinos, those lattes, and everything else that you get from the fancy coffee houses. That is included in there. So your body, whenever you take sugar into your body, insulin is going to be released from your pancreas, and it's going to grab that sugar and it's going to store it into your liver so that it can be used as fuel later. And it's also going to be stored into your muscles. Well, those things have a cap. Once there's no more capacity for the extra sugar to go into there to be used as later, when it gets stored into your fat cells, you will never run out of fat cells. We have an abundance of them. So all of that extra sugar that you're taking in is going to go to those fat cells. So when you're taking in all of this sugar from the soda, the juice, the sugary drinks, it's all going to go into your fat cells. The other thing that may be very obvious that you can start to remove is the processed foods. So what are processed foods? Anything that comes in a package that has a very long shelf life. These are things that are not fresh, things that don't spoil very quickly. These are things like rice, pasta, or any other refined grains, cookies, chips, Pop-Tarts. The list goes on and on. Most cereals, all of these things, they can go. Why? Whenever something is processed, it goes through a lot of chemical processing. So there's more chemical in it than actual natural ingredients. So every time you add more and more chemicals, that usually means more and more sugar, more and more fat, more and more salt. Those are the three things that makes you want to continue to eat them over and over and over again. And that really is what drives the habit to crave these foods, is because it's all chemicals. It has a lot of salt and a lot of fat, a lot of sugar. Again, a lot of sugar is going to get stored into those fat cells, and that is what leads to us being overweight, as well as all of the fat that comes in here. So now that we talked about the things that you need to get rid of, let's talk about what you are going to do. You need more whole foods. All right. So this is, we're probably going to consider this to be eat more whole food. What am I talking about? I am talking about lean protein, chicken, turkey, seafood, lean beef, right? So make sure it's grass-fed beef, or at least less than 20% fat if you're going to do beef. So there's a lot of different ways that you can incorporate these things. So when I say lean protein, chicken breast, ground turkey, seafood, lean sources of beef, and really for your protein sources, you should be getting 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. Most people that are just now starting their fitness journey, a lot of times they're not even getting close to this, right? So if you are someone who's not even getting half of whatever this equation is, so if you're trying to be 150, 160 pounds, then means you need to be eating about 130 to 150 grams of protein. You may not even be coming close to that. So I always like to start off going slow, because trying to get to that amount of protein and you're just starting can be a little challenging. So maybe your goal is to get to 100 grams of protein. Once you get to 100 grams of protein and you're able to consistently do that, then you're going to start getting higher, more towards your goal. But by that time, you're going to be doing the things that I'm about to include in the next few steps in order to really see that weight come off and look phenomenal. All right. So in addition to lean protein as your whole foods, you're also going to make sure you're getting fiber rich veggies and fruit. Avocado, broccoli, cauliflower, all green leafy vegetables are good for you, okay? For your fruit, go crazy with the berries. Berries are so good for you. Berries are low in sugar. They have a lot of fiber. They have a lot of antioxidants. They have a lot of the good stuff in there. So always, berries are a mainstay whenever you're looking at trying to eat the best foods for weight loss and to support healthy nutrition. Definitely berries. This can be strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, you name it. They're very good for you, so make sure you are incorporating those. The other thing that you want to make sure you're getting in are the complex / healthy carbs. Now, when I say complex healthy carbs, these are whole food sources. They have a lot of fiber in there, and the reason that they're complex is because they have fiber, which is going to slowly release the carbs into your system. You're going to make sure you're not digesting all of those carbs that come along with it. So what are complex carbs? I think of things like sweet potato, squash. Those are just a couple of examples of some complex carbs that you can have. The other complex carbs that I think of are lentils. Lentils They can kind of serve two purposes here. So lentils, they have a good source of protein, but they also are high in fiber. So many people who are vegan and they need a source of protein, a lot of times they will lean into those lentils or beans, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, lentils, all of those kind of things. They're going to have a good source of protein in them, and they're also going to have fiber for you in order to incorporate into a well-balanced, healthy diet. So now we are going to move on to step number 3. Number 3, you need to move more. Again, we talked about what it means to be in a calorie deficit. When you're in a calorie deficit, you are burning more calories than you are consuming. So part of this whole weight loss makeover, you need to start moving more. And I'm not talking about just a bunch of cardio. I love cardio. You know, I used to do a lot of cardio back in the day. Once you hit the age of 35, your levels of estrogen starts to go down. And estrogen is one of those hormones for women that helps support muscle. But once that starts to decline and you start to get older, you are going to start to lose muscle. So that means you need to start doing things that's going to support muscle gain and prevent muscle loss. So earlier we talked about eating a good source of protein and making sure you're getting 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. The other reason that you need to eat that much protein is because now you need to start strength training, and you need to strength train at least 3 times per week. So for someone that's just getting started, I always say 3 days of strength training. 3 days of strength training. So that may not sound like a lot, and this is only 30 minutes. So let me put 30 minutes on here. Three days, 30 minutes each. Okay. So 3 days may not sound like a lot. 30 minutes may not sound like a lot, but I'm thinking of the women that I help every single day. These are women who are very busy. They have a very busy job, high demand. They have a team that they're leading. They have a family. Sometimes they have their own personal business. So to find 3 30-minute time slots to do your workout in, that can be a little challenging for someone, but it's not impossible. And I help women rearrange their schedule and figure out where they can squeeze these things in. But this is important. You need 3 days of strength training because you want to start building muscle. If you have more muscle, you will have less fat. Also, building muscle, you're going to be burning more calories at rest. So again, here we go again. We're talking about being in that calorie deficit. You want to do any and everything you can to be able to burn more than you are consuming. Building muscle is going to get you there. All right. The other thing that you need to do with this movement, I want you to move 8 to 10,000 steps per day. So this isn't always easy for me either. I work a job where I sit at my desk and at a computer for most of the hours. I need to sometimes force myself out of my seat and go for a walk. You may need to schedule these walks throughout the day. You may need to, instead of eating your lunch at your desk, take that 30 minutes and go for a walk. Schedule a 10-minute walk every 3 to 4 hours so that you can get up and move around and get towards those steps. This can be your cardio for now. Eventually you'll be able to add some more cardio in there, but these 2 right here, this can be a lot for someone who's pretty busy, who's only sedentary right now and really have never had any kind of weight loss or fitness regimen. Starting with this can be a bit challenging. It's very doable, but this is a very basic and easy thing to kind of start easing yourself into it. So 3 30-minute strength training sessions and 8 to 10,000 steps per day. All right. Number 4, get adequate sleep. What is adequate sleep? 7 to 8 hours per night. Do not discount the benefits of getting good sleep. You need good sleep. The reason that you need to get this much sleep is during your sleep cycle, that's when a lot of your hormones are resetting. Some of your hormones peak the most at nighttime. When you're not giving yourself 7 hours of sleep at night, you're not giving yourself time to recover, but you're also not letting your body do what it needs to do for your hormones. Some of the hormones that I think about when you are not getting good rest, I think of ghrelin. Ghrelin is the hormone that tells you that you are hungry. The other hormone that goes along with that is leptin. Leptin is the hormone that will tell you you are full. When you don't get enough sleep, your ghrelin level is going to be high and your leptin level is going to be low. So that means you are going to be eating and snacking all day long, and it's going to be very difficult for you to remain in a calorie deficit if you're eating for the entire day. The other thing that you need to know about people who don't get adequate sleep, research has shown that people that get 6 or less hours of sleep each night, they are more at risk for developing insulin resistance. And when you develop insulin resistance, that's a whole other metabolic thing that's going to cause you also to gain more weight and to be obese. So it's very important that you are getting your sleep each night. The other reason that you need to get sleep so that you can have enough energy to do these things up here. If you're not resting and you're not asleep, you're not going to have the energy to do this, let alone work at your job to your fullest potential. So it's important that you do all of these things so that way you can support a healthy weight loss. And really all of these, this is a new lifestyle for you. You want to do all of these things so that you can get to a healthier place. Step number 5, this one sounds easy and I'm going to say it. You want to make sure you are hydrating. You need to be drinking half your body weight in ounces. Half your body weight in ounces per day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you need to be drinking 75 ounces of water each day. Water is extremely important. Water is going to help with digestion. It's going to help things to move through your body regularly. It's going to make bowel movements much easier. It's going to help with lubrication of your joints, your mouth, and everything. And sometimes it's going to help keep away some of those cravings for you to snack. Sometimes it's simply because you're not drinking enough, but you want to eat all the time. Make sure you are drinking half your body weight in ounces of water. How I like to make sure I'm hitting my goal, I usually wake up, first thing I do is drink 16 ounces of water before I even leave the house. And then I take my 32-ounce bottle of water with me. I fill it up twice while I'm at work. And then I may actually have another 16 ounce when I get home. But by the time I drink 2 of those 32 ounces, along with 16 ounces in the morning, I'm already at 80 ounces. So anything that I drink additional is extra. But you see what I'm saying? You may not need to do that much water while you're at work, but you need to get pretty close so that you can make sure you're always hitting your water goal of half your body weight in ounces of water each day. Step number 6. You are going to track everything. This is important. You are going to continue to track your food from the first step where you started trimming out the things that you don't need. You're going to continue to track your food. You're going to continue to track your exercises. So track food, track your workouts. The reason that you're tracking your workouts, number 1, you want to see your progress. You want to see that you are getting better every time that you do it. You want to make sure that you're hitting your 3 workouts. You want to make sure that you're hitting your 8 to 10,000 steps. But as you are lifting every 3 to 4 weeks, you should be picking up heavier weight. So the weight is going to get lighter after you do it for a while. That's why you're going to be increasing the amount of weight that you're picking up. Also, you're going to notice that that 30-minute workout is going to eventually become easy. So then that means you're going to be able to add either another day or add more time onto your workout as you get better and more advanced at it. That's why you're tracking everything. You want to see your progress. You want to measure your success. You want to get too crazy about the scale because the weight is only like one unit of measurement, but you want to keep track of your weight. More importantly, you want to keep track of your progress photos. You also want to do your measurements. These are two fantastic ways to measure your success at losing inches, not necessarily weight. And the reason why I say you don't want to go crazy with looking at the number on the scale is because everything kind of fluctuates. So if you had a bad night's sleep, the scale is probably going to go up the next day. Your hormones are going to cause things to go up and down, up and down. That's why you don't want to get hung up on the number on the scale. But progress photos and measurements, they are really going to tell you really just how you are doing. So you're going to start off with photos. You're going to get into like a sports bra or a form-fitting something and take photos front, back, side. That's going to be your starting photos. You're also going to do measurements. The way that I like to have my ladies do measurements, you want to take it around the widest part of your arms. You want to do your waist, you want to do your hip and your butt, and you want to do around your breast. You want to take these measurements and then you want to do those measurements and photos again, maybe in like 4 to 8 weeks to see where you are. I had a client who the scale was not moving for her and she was actually frustrated because the scale wasn't moving. I said, send me your photos. She sent me her photos and I was able to put those photos side by side. And this is only after 12 weeks. This girl was already losing inches and she didn't even realize it, because sometimes you don't realize it because that number on the scale, it may not move. But as you start to build muscle, you are going to get thinner, but your muscle is going to make that scale either stay the same or go up. Muscle, people always say that muscle weighs more than fat. Muscle doesn't weigh more than fat. Muscle takes up less space than fat does. It's denser. So you could be the same exact weight, but look a lot thinner and a lot leaner because you have more muscle than when you had a lot of fat on there. So again, I cannot emphasize this enough. Don't stress about the number on the scale. You still want to take the weight, but you don't want to stress about that. You want your progress photos and you want your measurements. So I hope that you guys found this information helpful. If you guys want to get more information on how to work with me or how to sign up for the Boss Betty's Fit Camp, fill out the application that's in the description or just send me an email and I'll reach out to you and we can go ahead and get started. But I pray for your success on your weight loss journey. Give me some comments and let me know what you want to see next on this channel. And if you want to know where you can find some strength training videos, I have some on my channel as well. So hopefully you guys check those out. But until the next one, be blessed.